All right. Well, last year I participated in the comprehend subset of the iFALCON with George, and I realized that there are a few things we do in technology that might be interesting for your faculty to learn. So if you can go ahead and in comprehend, the idea was for basically the students to understand the course content rather than to simply complete the requirements. And as I looked at your handouts earlier, where students would ask, for example, what do I need to pass this class? We want them to go to the next step. So one of the things that I looked at is basically giving them information in the form of non-linguistic representation, meaning diagram, charts, things that sometimes make it easier for them to complete the requirements in our area. Because in our area, we have, let's say, a machine, and they need to produce this part. And for them, sometimes I've noticed it's confusing, even though you give them all what it is that they're supposed to do. It's confusing for them to know which step goes first. If I miss one step, what do I do, or do I go back? So little by little, we created more information on how to help them with that. So you can go. There's help out there. There's a book that's pretty good that talks about classroom instruction that works, and that's through all the handouts that I printed over here. And then there's one related to what we do in our area, which is called 4D Top Tools for Manufacture. And again, those are examples on how to present information graphically. I found this website here in Arizona, I believe, that has those online. So if you ever wanted to save them to your own computer, you can actually access them from that website. Keep going to the next slide. And those are the 6 that they have. They call them pattern organizers, either descriptive, process, generalization, time sequence, episode, and concept. And if you can go to the next one. The first one is descriptive. So that's the one that I have over here. And the idea is to give facts about the topic. So in our area, if you can click the next one, for example, that would be telling them the different nomenclature, if you want, for the machines that they are using. Because even though it's in English, there are lots of names that are not familiar to most people, like a quill or a fillet. Or those are English terms that most people don't really know because they are very specific to machine tool technology. So if we tell them, if we say this is it, it might be confusing, or maybe they are behind other students, they are not paying attention. If they have a picture of it, it's better for them to be able to review the information. So that's one example. Cause and effect. So if you can go to the next one. On cause and effect, we did something with the Innovation Center to be able to give them a very comprehensive view of what it is that they are doing in our area. In our area, the main thing that they are doing is that they are getting some blueprint requirements. So some company would say, we want to make this gizmo, this is what the gizmo looks like, these are the dimensions of the gizmo, the color, the material. And their goal is to actually make an acceptable part. Not just make it, but make it to where it meets the requirement. So something like that helps them understand what influences the result. This is the process, if you want, the inputs and the outputs. And we want them to think beyond just turning the machine on and starting cutting. Did they think about how they were holding the part? Did they think about what kind of surface finish they were looking for? So it helps them go to the next step, not just complete the job, cut the material, but think about what influences what. So that's another. So that's the second one, the process. Then there are some patterns that are more like this one, generalization, where it's more for their own use. When they take notes, if you can go to the next one, is they take notes. So we want them to say, what are fixtures? Some of them may be coming in not really knowing what the term means, and we want to make sure that they know that for fixture, there's different type of fixtures for different type of equipment. So this one is more in terms of having them take better notes to understand better what we're talking about as teachers. Move on to the next one. Time sequence pattern organizer. That's this one. If you can click on the next one. This is the one that I would say that has been the most successful in our area. This one shows a student how to set up what is called a CNC machine, which is a computer numerically controlled machine. And that allows them to go one step at a time. The job of setting up a CNC machine can be very overwhelming. There are lots of things you got to remember. And what we've done is we've taken the main steps, if you want, and summarize them in a time sequence pattern. It's helped them to make this, because before, one student would start by doing this, then doing this, then doing that, and they would forget this along the way. The next students would remember doing this, but would not do that. Because the information we were giving them was more verbal. We were telling you, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. By having the map and having them actually look at the map when we explain the concept, we've gained a lot of comprehension, which is really what we're trying to do in that field group. And one class that we're using for our learning outcome is actually the one where we use this diagram. And what we do for the learning outcome at the end is we give them an interview, and basically we ask them all those questions. And because they've seen this again and again and again, and we've used it again and again, they can do that. And at a job, when they go to somebody say, well, go ahead and make me this part, hopefully in their head they go like, okay, I gotta go through step 1, step 2, step 3. So this is the one that, personally I'm most proud of, that's helped us the most. Right. Go to the next one. This one is another one that was presented in the book that I was looking at. Unfortunately, this one, I don't see any use for it at this point in our area. Maybe this would be more useful like in history, where they could write what happened, the sequence of it, I don't know. But in our area, if you click to the next slide, I said, sorry. We can't use that in our area. If the part is not good, it's rejected, you don't get paid. That's it. And then the last, no, there's one more, the concept organizer. If you can go ahead again and click to the next one. This one we use to help them with concepts that may be fuzzy for them. Like they know about materials, they've already heard about steel, stainless steel, aluminum. They've heard those terms before. But to them it's not clear in which families of materials they belong. So by using that, we're able to really separate, at the top level, what are metals, non-metals in our area. That's a main distinction on what we do. And then later, what are those metals? What's the difference between non-ferrous and ferrous? Do they have iron? Do they not have iron? So in a way, it's kind of give them a top view of what it is that we're talking about. Because constantly we'll be talking about the tool is this material, the machine is this material, we harden it to this material. This allows them to have a top view and say, oh, when he talks about this, that's what he means. It's that family of materials, to give them a better understanding. And that's it. The idea was to show you the different tools. So what I passed around are the tools from that website. I did not create that. And I just showed you the examples of the way we use them in our area. And I think at the end of the day, having those resources online, or the resources I saw today, and hopefully more, can help us become better teachers. Because I'm always looking for new ideas, how to teach the material better. And that's what I'm trying to do.